For the next 30 days I will be pushing both body and mind to the absolute limit, with the goal of going from this to a dunk just like this one, but for real. What I didn't know at the time was that this was going to be way more than just a dunk challenge, but a test of overcoming injury, some of the most incredible physical improvement I have seen on the internet, and accidentally even a bit of a body transformation. And all of that just to prove to myself that I am athletic enough to reach this human pinnacle. Because, to be honest with you, a probably way too big part of my entire personality is that I'm really good at sports, so I'm already really mad that I can't do this right now, and if I can't do it in 30 days, then I might accidentally have some kind of an existential personality crisis or something, which would really, really not be good. So, with that out of the way, sit back and enjoy. Can you imagine the feeling of flying through the air as Michael Jordan? The ball in one hand, the air whizzing by. You feel like you're invincible. And then finally, BAM! Oh! You dunk that thing. Now, clearly, as you saw, I do not know the feeling of bang dunking that thing. And that really sucks. So that's why in this video, I'm going to push myself to the absolute limit, see how I can learn to dunk as fast as possible, so that in the end of all of this, I can say, I absolutely do know the feeling of bam, dunking that thing. Learning to dunk. Let's go. Woo, epic title. Yeah. Woo. Me loves epic title. Man, there's so many people here. This is so embarrassing. Come on. First thing I needed to do was test just how far away I really was on day one. As you can see, day one, I was nowhere close. No matter how long I tried, the maximum was I could just touch the rim. I was honestly kind of embarrassed to even show this start online.
So obviously, as you probably noticed, I am still a complete beginner in basketball. But I'm not a complete beginner in sports overall in general at all. Actually, I've been training table tennis for about 10 years now, playing at a relatively high level. I managed to be Swiss champion last year and number 3 in single Swiss championships. So I feel like I have quite a bit of the athleticism that is needed. I just never have done anything dunking or basketball related, which I think that makes this a really good experiment.
Training number 1. After making a training plan with my mother, who is a physiotherapist, I immediately started with my first training.
My legs are dead.
Completely sweating. Look at this. Oh my god. Oh, that's honestly a little bit disgusting. So the first week's training focused on 3 different aspects. First, a lot of strengthening with things like normal squats, but also a lot of core exercises. Second, a lot of mobility, which is incredibly important to be able to jump high. And third, of course, what you'd expect, the explosiveness with things like plyometrics, jumps, and also weighted jumps. And I'll show you more what I did exactly later in this video. Now for the first time, I think I'm actually starting to see some real progress. Obviously the first couple of days you don't really see any direct progress. And this might be the most arrogant thing I've said yet, but I've been watching a lot of other people attempt similar challenges. And in 30 days the most progress I've seen was like this much maximum, which again I might regret saying this in a little bit, but I just feel like surely they weren't giving it 100%. Like I cannot believe that if you give it 100%, you're only this much higher after 30 days. They must have taken some kind of shortcuts. And if there's something that 10 years of table tennis taught me, is that there cannot be any shortcuts ever. With that said, let's get back to training. Oh my god, okay, that was horrible. And with that progress I started getting completely obsessed. Can you hear that? That's the sound of a city sleeping. The sound of discipline. The sound of a mind strong enough to get up before everyone else. And it's the best sound in the entire world. Okay, it might not have been quite that dramatic, but it really is true. At this point, I could never not think about basketball and finally dunking that thing. From this point on until day 30, basketball completely took over my life. Like no joke, I even started dreaming about dunking the ball. That's how bad it got. And so the next 7 days I trained even harder, getting extra reps in wherever I could, until on day 14, disaster struck. I was so incredibly close already. I felt like in the next few days I would get my first dunk for sure. Oh my God! But then all of a sudden, injury. There's honestly just no way I can do any training today at all. I honestly feel like I can hardly sit right now. Like my back, like the side of my back is just, it feels, oh man, this is so frustrating. This probably seems like an absurd problem for most people, but I truly was just training too much. I got so obsessed with dunking this ball that I didn't follow the training plan anymore. I kept on pushing even when my body told me to stop. You see, coming from table tennis, recovery is of course very important, but in a very different way. It's physically not quite as tiring as other sports, but technically incredibly difficult. So basically, the more forehand topspin you play, the better your topspin is. In dunking, it's a completely different relationship. It's way easier to overtrain to the point where it actually harms your progress. So I had to rewire my brain to this new type of training. And because I can't train right now, I thought this would be the perfect time to take a little break and actually figure out the exact dimensions of what I need to do. So I am with my hand stretched up 235 centimeters. The basketball rim is 305 centimeters. And so I calculated that I need a 70 centimeter vertical jump, which according to Google is not just incredibly difficult for untrained people, but even very, very difficult to achieve for some professional athletes. So I may have overestimated myself a little bit here. Luckily for me, after 3 days of obsessing over all kinds of recovery strategies, the injury became at least bearable. And let me tell you, since day one, I have already learned so much about dunking. I figured out that dunking is about way more than just explosiveness. Sure, you need power, but you also need the right mobility, a good run-up, a proper hand flick, and maybe most importantly, the right technique. But hold on, what exactly is the right technique? So this is my mom. She used to play basketball, and she's now going to teach me some of the techniques that they use to properly dunk.
Okay, not bad, I have to say. So instead of walking into your jump, you try and then jump into your jump. Okay, go. Okay. Really speed, okay, speed upwards. And the other thing is, try not to get your focus on going high, but just think on going faster. Explode more. Yeah. Ah. That was So actually focusing on all the different technique things, I think I've actually made some insane progress in the last few days. My vertical has gotten a lot better, but I've also learned why most NBA players actually really do not enjoy dunking. And it's simply just because it actually really hurts. Like I'll get so mad all the time that I'm not quite getting it.
Oh, just accidentally threw the ball over this entire gate in my anger.
So I'll just keep trying again and again and again, and of course every time you're just hitting your hands or your fingers onto the rim.
My fingers just started bleeding from hitting the rim too much. Being this close and still not managing is so frustrating.
Well, I noticed that your flexibility in your right ankle is not as good as it should be. And of course, with dunking, it's extremely important that you have a free flexibility of both your ankles, both your knees and the hip joints. This bone here, it's called talus, does not glide properly back underneath the tibia.
And just like that, I kept pushing on. At this point, completely exhausted, making a video every single day and using your kind comments as extra motivation. The grand finale is close. This is what I was working for. Alright, so it's technically day like 33 or something right now. I've been editing this video right here for the past few days, which means I haven't been training at all, but I'm now back here at the place that was basically my second home for 30 days. I want to give this one final shot. And so as I ran towards the basket one more time, I realized how much I had already achieved. Because of my obsession, my handles went from being basically non-existent to this. I learned to shoot the ball so much better and can now even palm the ball in my hand. On day 30, I realized even my body looked completely different. More robust, more athletic, a little bit more superhuman. But much more than that, my mind had developed. I made myself a promise to train every single day for 30 days. No matter the weather, no matter my mood, no matter how I was feeling, every single day I kept my promise. And it all led up to this.
Oh my god!
Oh my god. Yo, what? That felt easy. I was up there. Oh my god. During the entire 30 days, I never got it first try.
Easy two-handed dunk. Alright, now I'm happy. One-handed dunk, two-handed dunk. This is the end I really wanted. No problem. No problem.
So yes, I actually managed to learn to dunk in 30 days. And looking at before and after videos, I improved my vertical by an honestly quite unbelievable 10.5 inches. And to be completely honest, I already got my first dunk quite a bit back, but it was like a very weak dunk. There was no power behind it, so I didn't want to call that a proper dunk. But there was one question that you guys kept asking me again and again and again, and I still haven't answered it. And it is, of course, what is my workout plan exactly? And I am going to answer that question, but first, this is the first video of a series I am making here on YouTube called the Superordinary Superhuman series, in which I, a superordinary guy, try to achieve superhuman things, like in this case, dunking. And all with the goal to more deeply understand this fascinating thing called the human limit. Because that really is something I've been thinking about a lot lately. So if you would like to support this series, definitely subscribe to the channel and go ahead and comment down below what challenge you would like to see me try next. If you have a good idea, I'd be really happy if you take the time to go ahead and comment that real quick. So if you want to learn to dunk yourself, finally, here is the training plan. I put it on the screen up here. But just know that I only followed it for like the first week. After that, I think you'll get a good enough feeling for your own body and also dunking in general, that you can just sort of adjust it day by day and do whatever you think you need to do to achieve your goal on that specific day. But if you use this as a general framework, then I'm sure you will be seeing results just like me before you even know it. Alright, challenge number 1 is officially completed.